got
Holy
the floor.
smokes.
Yeah,
Okay, I guess we got to start with breaking news Monday morning. I want to say that I did write this on Sunday night.
Okay.
And I was just kind of ahead of it. The Bills' first call needs to be to Mike Tomlin to see if he's really taking next year off.
I don't even know if that's the answer. How does that sound?
Really?
How about this? Yeah. How about this? Because, I mean, if you're firing Sean McDermott over results, not getting to a certain level of the playoffs, which is what this appears to be. Like, hey, we keep hitting our ceiling before the Super Bowl. We need to get to the Super Bowl. So let's hire a guy who, despite a Hall of Fame resume and despite how great he is, let's take him and let's put him here and hook him up with a quarterback that's as close to Big Ben as he's ever seen or we've seen, okay, and see what happens, would be, I think, a sell to the Buffalo fan base that at the end of the day they'd be pleased with because he's such a big name and it is a guy that has been there and done that. I kind of think what they want to do is get out of the CEO mold and go and get a young X's and O's play calling dude like Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson's success this year, along with everybody else's actions from Baltimore to Pittsburgh, have created a situation in Western New York to essentially say, we need to go get one of those. And we don't need to keep doing the same thing over and over again because there's a certain level of success. The floor has been so high. Look what Baltimore just did with their guy who's been there 18 seasons. Look what the Steelers just had a fan base that created such an environment, or Tomlin felt compelled that we're done here to leave, that two organizations that have done it the same way for 2 decades now have to do it a different way based on their own doing and based on the coach's decision. We don't have to keep doing it the same way ourselves anymore. So I don't know. Would Tomlin be an incredible choice for Buffalo? And let's hook him up with Josh Allen. He's not exactly the quarterback whispering type. He's the CEO that would get a situation together that potentially can get you to where you want to go, which is the Super Bowl and obviously a parade. I kind of think that they're going to go and get a coach who calls the plays, who's hooked up to Josh Allen, and end it and see what you can do in terms of a defensive coordinator on that side of the football, and then talk to the Buffalo Bills fan base that thinks the roster is what, at the end of the day, has let Josh Allen and this franchise down. It's the roster. It's the way that they've surrounded Josh Allen, not the way that they've coached Josh Allen. It's the way, or in games with Josh Allen. It's the way that they've built the roster and talked to the fans who think the general manager's now not only staying, but he's been promoted to handle all of this.
That's wild.
That's the tougher sell, I think. But would Tomlin be a great choice? Sure. I think he is, by the way, going to take this year off, Tomlin.
Yeah, but let's call and just make sure.
I agree. I don't think that's an overreaction at the end of the day.
Yeah.
My reaction is the CEO head coach in Buffalo with a defensive side of the football resume.
Yeah, that's over, huh?
I think you want to go in a different direction. And, just as for instance, they already have Joe Brady sitting in the OC chair. If you feel like he's ready and he's going to be, interviewing for jobs elsewhere and potentially might wind up in Miami, just throwing ifs and buts and candies and nuts out there. Right. Do you go ahead and see if he's the guy? I understand the Giants just bounced Brian Daboll.
Yeah, I was going to bring him up.
But Daboll came from the staff in Buffalo, where that's where the Josh Allen ascension began, with him in his headset.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you do that? I don't know what's going to happen. This did surprise me, though, at the end of the day.
Yeah, of all the years to do it, I guess you could have kind of, justified it either after last year or the year before, playoff disappointment, but But now,
But I think, again, just to bring it all full circle, Ben Johnson shows up in Chicago as an X's and O's genius.
yeah, they're immediately
Hook him up with your quarterback. Look where you go.
Yeah.
Okay. And then two other franchises that have done it a certain way are saying, you know what? Into the brave new world we go.
Yeah.
And the Bills will be like, okay. The crazy thing at the end of the day, it's not crazy, it's understandable, is that the Packers decided, just keep going with Matt LaFleur, which, as you know, I think is a great choice.
Right.
What else you got over there?
Man, maybe the Bills should call the Packers for a trade, maybe. Not LaFleur. Part of the reason Sean McDermott got bounced is because his quarterback didn't play well. Josh Allen did not have a good game on Sunday. And could this be the beginning of the end of Josh Allen in Buffalo? Josh Allen should force a trade to the Rams if Stafford retires this offseason.
Get out of here. By the way, if Stafford retires this offseason, that might you want to talk about how all of these quarterbacks elsewhere, like Burrow and whatever, who are thinking where they currently are isn't the best place for them.
Man.
That opening might create that sort of March madness in the NFL. Josh Allen's not demanding a trade.
Why not? Why shouldn't make the case why he shouldn't?
Because he loves it where he is, and he's beloved where he is. And I think if you're sitting here today, like you are and I am, I hate doing this sort of stuff.
I get it,
I feel
man.
like I have to get into the head of somebody who, doesn't deserve me clanking around between the temples or anyone in the media, quite frankly.
I get it.
But if I had to get inside of Josh Allen's head right now, I think his thought process is grieving the loss of a season, and processing what his role in it was. If I only hit that wide open Dawson Knox,
Gave him 3
if I
points
only did this,
half,
if I didn't fumble it before halftime, if I didn't do that, if I could have done a little bit more, I think that's what he's wrestling with right now. Not, am I in the right situation?
Well, maybe in a week or two he'll think about that.
How did I affect, McDermott's departure? How did I do anything to do with any of the upheaval and the coaching staff? I personally think he internalizes things in a more empathetic way for others, which is, I think, one of his superpowers. And I'm now going to crawl outside of his head, which you've now forced me to do with this topic bar. The Rams are obviously the spot where I think a lot of people want to go for anything and everything. Devontae Adams said this week, and it's made the rounds, that he's told all of the kids in the wide receiver room, listen, I did get out of where I was in Green Bay. I did want to play with my BFF in college. I did want to get closer to the West Coast. I did want to do all of these things. I wanted my money. I wanted this. I wanted that. I understand you're going to want all that stuff. But where we are right now, this grass is so damn green. Never leave the Los Angeles Rams under the current construct of owner, general manager, and coach. Don't ever leave it. And so, sure, it will be an incredibly attractive spot. And I think for Stafford, too. I don't know if he's going anywhere based on the way that he's playing, based on the way that the Rams are now one step away from the Super Bowl. And let's see how it all ends. But that's my response to this. I'll just say this is a wild over.